This episode of FilmRiot is brought to you by FreshBooks. They fresh to death. Welcome to FilmRiot Mondays. Josh is naked.
Do you get it?
Right?
That was really stupid.
Also, he doesn't have pants on. Not bad. What do you think about the new Lytro Cinema Camera? Is this going to be the next big thing in VFX? I think it looks amazing, and if it does everything that they're saying it does, it's pretty mind-blowing, and it's going to do a lot for VFX. Definitely a huge step forward if it does all those things really well. I mean, you're getting rid of green screen, you're cleaning up that post-production pipeline a lot. But then I do have some reservations about it as well. But instead of going into all of those, Stu Maschwitz wrote a blog and said it all a lot better than I can. So read that right here. I'm concerned about some of the disciplines that may be lost with having so much that you can change after the fact. That might be old-fashioned thinking, maybe, but I definitely think it looks amazing and I would love to get my hands on one. What's up, Ryan? As far as I know, Apple's ProRes codecs are exclusive to OS X. Any tips on an alternative for Windows? You could still use ProRes on Windows, you just can't export to it, but I use DNX HD when I do. It's Avid's codec and it's really good, so.
Solid ending, bro.
Thanks, man. Is there any real difference between Final Cut and Premiere, or is it just preference? I like Final Cut, but people say Premiere is better. I think both software is going to get you to the same end result. So there is a big portion of this that is personal preference. For me, I don't like how Final Cut works at all. I prefer Adobe and just the Adobe pipeline overall with dynamic linking much better than I do Final Cut. So I think you are getting a better overall experience with Adobe, but again, I think you could do mostly the same thing with either one of them. However, the other thing to keep in account is I think the industry is leaning a lot more toward Adobe Premiere than it is Final Cut. So if you're trying to get a job at a production house, it'd be smart to at least know both software if you're going with Final Cut. If your system can't handle 4K editing in Premiere, what would be the easiest way to lower quality to edit but still be able to export in 4K? You just change the resolution of your playback. You can do that by either right-clicking on the screen and selecting it there, or this little drop-down right here, and you can select the resolution that's going to let your system work appropriately. I'm usually somewhere in the 1/4 range when I'm working on 4 or 6K footage. Tips for a traveling camera case. The question is out. You hear me? You hear me? I use Pelican cases. I was gonna show you, but it's too far. Pelican cases. How do professional filmmakers get paid while working on a film? I've noticed many directors going years between projects, and I have always wondered how they stay afloat. Well, they get paid a ton of money for doing the project if they're making a big film, so that's gonna sustain them for a while. But most directors are doing things like commercials and music videos and client work in between other things, or they're in pre-production, which they can often get paid for depending on the contract. So from what I know, at least, it's one of those two things. If you are someone who struggles with tax stuff, listen up. Our friends at FreshBooks have created ridiculously simple cloud accounting software that helps service-based small business owners get a handle on their paperwork. FreshBooks keeps all your cash flow details in one place so you know exactly what invoices you sent, who has paid you what, and what your income is. Their mobile app lets you take pictures of your receipts and organize them for later, which makes claiming expenses at tax time a breeze. You'll be so much more prepared and way less stressed. And right now, FreshBooks is offering a free 30-day trial. Just go to freshbooks.com/FilmRiot and enter FilmRiot in the How Did You Hear About Us section.
Great job, buddy.
Logo. So that's it for today, which means it's time for my suggestion of the week. This one is Martin Scorsese talking about framing, and anytime he talks about anything, it's just a total win. I found this one thanks to One Perfect Shot, which is a great Twitter account to follow. You can find all that right here. And until next week, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.
It's really weird that they're here, right?
I don't know who they are.
Should we call the cops?
Yeah, I'm thinking so.